Hey everybody, and welcome to Comics from the Future. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
We're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and this is our bigger show where we show you some of the biggest and best books that you can pre-order by this weekend. So head over to infinityflux.net right now, and you can place those orders as we go. You can listen along, watch along, and when you see something you like, it's super easy just to go ahead and pre-order, whether you shop locally or you get it sent to you in the mail. We love to help you out either way.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of really great books up this week, a lot of number ones, a lot of stuff I feel like is why we do the show, a lot of explaining of here's what this is, that kind of stuff. So let's get into this week, starting with our featured comics. And I'm going to start this week because I'm special. Okay, we're starting off with Absolute Power Origins number 1. So this is going to be, I believe a 3-issue miniseries that runs alongside Absolute Power, the was it 4-issue main series?
Yeah, the main Absolute Power event is going to be just 4 issues. There's the 3-hour Absolute Power Origins and the 7-issue Absolute Power Task Force 7. And those are your only actual Absolute Power
kind of new
books.
Titles.
Yeah, all the other tie-ins are just in the pages of the ongoing Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Arrow, a few others.
So this one is going to be by John Ridley and Aletha Martinez. And this tells the definitive untold origin of Amanda Waller. Amanda Waller's been around a long time now, and I'm kind of surprised we haven't got an origin. I'm sure they've touched on it here or there, but what makes her hate superheroes so much? We're going to find out in this how she went from being a regular woman, living her life, working her job, to basically becoming the most dangerous person in the DC universe. She loses everything, and she kind of lives by the mantra, never again.
Yeah.
So clearly, I think maybe her family or something is caught in the crossfire of some superhero event. And this is going to be Breaking Bad for the DC universe as you see Amanda Waller turn evil. But we're going to learn a little bit more. Does she have a reason behind it? Does she have, is there any sympathy there? We'll have to see. But it's going to be really interesting. I like it's only 3 issues, so this is very digestible. It's not strung out a long way.
High in fiber.
Yeah, high in fiber. Great for your morning. Get your morning started. So we've got our A cover right here. We have a Dave Wilkins variant. We have our Aletha Martinez and Danny Mickey cardstock variant. So that is your interior artist. And that's I guess that's Failsafe in the background. It's very Batman Beyond looking.
Yeah, Failsafe and the Brainiac Queen over there. Yeah. That's your Trinity of Evil is what they're calling it.
And then I want to talk about our next thing. I thought I would just group these together. This is Absolute Power Task Force 7, number 2. We talked about number 1 before that, this is the 7-issue miniseries that kind of follows all of the different Amazo robots that Amanda Waller's using that are going around and collecting the powers of kind of their respective heroes. So this one is going to be written by John Layman and the artist by Max Rayner. And this Amazo you see on the cover is called Depth Charge, and you can already imagine who's he going to be going after. He steals Aquaman's powers along with the throne to Atlantis. Probably not in a very democratic way. I don't think he gets voted in at that time. But it's going to be up to Jackson Hyde and the rest of the Aqua family to launch a revolution without being discovered. So I think this is going to be great. I can't wait to read all of these. I love it's a different creative team for each of them. So it's really going to shake it up. And just seeing how do some of these other characters deal with the Absolute Power event. So we've got our A cover right there. We also have our Simone DeMeo variant, these are always really cool. We have our John Jiang variant with kind of a creepy looking Aquaman.
Yeah.
We have our Stephen Platt variant. We've got our John Timms. This is part of your connecting variants. And we have a Dan Mora foil variant, which is kind of a design variant.
Yeah. Next up is EC Epitaphs from the Abyss #1. This is going to be a 5-issue miniseries. Now, this is being published by Oni Press, but it's kind of the return of the EC Comics imprint, brand, whatever you want to call it. So back in the Golden and Silver Age, EC Comics put out some of the best horror books, sci-fi books, fantasy books, and like the horror books especially, to this day, those books from the 50s still hold up. Those are some of the best horror books you'll read. So Oni Press is bringing all of that back. And it's going to have a whole bunch of different creative teams, writers and artists. I do believe that each issue is going to have multiple stories in it from different creative teams. The first issue is going to be an anthology story, or an anthology book, excuse me. It's going to be, I want to say this one was, oh, I'm looking at the wrong note. Sorry. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong. Yeah, the first issue is going to be 40 pages, different stories, different creative teams. And it's going to feature 3 different stories of terror, torment, and tension in the EC tradition.
Ooh, I love tension in my comics.
Yeah, right. I mean, you know, I need a little something extra after the terror. But yeah, just an exciting return to the EC Comics brand. And I think they're doing sci-fi and fantasy titles as well,
yeah,
right?
I think we'll probably be talking about the sci-fi one in a few weeks because that's in the latest previews book.
Yeah.
So it should be coming. But I like how they're not only relaunching the EC, everybody thinks of the horror EC,
Right.
but EC did a lot of different genres and everything that all had a very distinct look, and I love that they're bringing this back.
Yeah, so the Epitaphs from the Abyss, that's your horror title, and that's going to be 5 issues, and then we'll have a sci-fi and a fantasy series at some other point. But yeah, I'm excited for this to come back because, like I said, those EC horror books are awesome. So we have our A cover by Libra Mayho, which that already sells me on that right there. There's a Andrea Sorrentino variant. There's a Libra Mayho gold foil variant, so I guess the logo
like
up there is going to be gold.
Maybe,
yep.
Yes.
There's a Sorrentino silver foil variant, so probably the logo up there. And there is a blank variant, which is just a ghost. You just can't see it. That's scary enough.
Highly detailed ghost.
Right.
I think one of the strongest parts of this is also keeping that original style trade dress at the top. That just sells it. You know, you can spot that from a mile away.
Sure.
Also talking about spotting from a mile away, what is this? This is What If Donald the Duck Became Wolverine. And I think this is awesome. It's been years since, you know, the Marvel and Disney kind of merger and stuff. And we haven't gotten too much other than some variant covers here and there. But now, since we got the Uncle Scrooge, and now we are getting a great What If. And I believe there's other What Ifs to follow this. This is the first one. I believe another one is What If Donald Duck Became Thor. But in this one, so this is celebrating the 90th anniversary of Donald Duck and the 50th anniversary of Wolverine. And I said this on our other show, this kind of feels like Old Man Logan. Because Pete Skull, who I imagine is a Red Skull version of Pete the Cat, has turned Duckburg into a superhero-less wasteland. Donald has... it sounds like he's later in his Wolverine career as he's hung up the claws and chilled out. But Mickey Hawkeye comes knocking with Goofy Hulk to try to pull him back out to stop Pete Skull. And it says they have to convince him, all the while reminiscing about his greatest moments. So I'm really hoping we see a lot of classic X-Men storylines and stuff, but with the Disney characters. I think this sounds great. I think this is going to sell out really fast. I know the Uncle Scrooge did. This is just a thing that, you know, you don't have to worry about continuity. You don't have to worry about anything other than having fun.
Yeah, it's just fun.
So don't sleep on this. I think it's going to be a ton of fun.
And it's funny that for so long now, we've been getting these What If variant covers, you know, homaging older covers with the Disney characters. And now we're actually getting a story that looks like those covers.
Yeah, now it's going to get even more confusing telling people, well, this one is the story.
Right.
This one is not actually this. It's actually Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah. So we've got our A cover right here. We have a Peach Momoko variant. I like his claws in this. They're kind of little stubby claws. It fits with his size. We have a Phil Noto variant, which is, I would never have guessed that's Phil Noto. We have a Ron Lim variant. And a Scotty Young variant, which I'm surprised because the Uncle Scrooge one had a Frank Miller variant. I feel like we missed out on getting a Frank Miller
Donald
Duck Wolverine.
Yeah. All right, next up is Nice House by the Sea #1. This is going to be a 12-issue series, and this is a follow-up to Nice House on the Lake, still written by James Tynion, just like that series was. This is the art is by Alvaro Martinez Bueno, and it does sound, because it's a follow-up to Nice House on the Lake, this does sound very similar, but a little bit different. So there's a woman named Max, and she invites this group of people to this extravagant house, just like in the original series. They're masters of their fields. They are titans of industry. They basically represent the best and brightest of humanity. But the weird thing is, they don't know her, but she knows all of them. So, and that's a little bit different because the original Nice House on the Lake, they all knew Walter, the main guy. They didn't all know each other, but they were all connected through Walter. But it sounds like nobody here knows this Max character. But when she tells them of their destiny, that they have been saved from a disaster, a global disaster, so that they can carry on the flame of civilization, they jump at the chance to do that, which is also a little different because when in the original series, when they all found out what had happened to the real world, they panicked. They're like, I've got to get back to my family. I've got to go, find this person, that person. But it sounds like these people are like, sweet, I get to, reshape the world in my own image. So, I like the, the subtle differences there. So, but yeah, if you enjoyed the original Nice House on the Lake, this is the sort of the next piece to that. So we have our A cover right here. We have a Nick Robles variant. And there is a Hayden Sherman variant as well. It kind of looks like a nice postcard.
Nice postcard.
Wish we weren't here. Nice.
Next up, I'm really excited about this. This is probably one of my top ones this week that I'm looking forward to. This is Werewolf by Night, the Red Band. Now, this is interesting. So this is by Jason Liu and Sergio Davila. Now, let me preface by saying there is a Werewolf by Night Blood Hunt. I don't know if it's a one-shot or a 3-issue.
I don't remember.
But there is another Werewolf by Night that we did talk about a few weeks ago that is more tied with Blood Hunt. This is not the Red Band of that. This is a separate title. And this one doesn't have a standard edition. It is only a Red Band.
Right.
And it comes polybagged. But both series are written by Jason Liu. So just a little bit, but I believe they are each about a different Werewolf by Night. This is the original Jack Russell, and the other one is the newer Werewolf by Night. But this one, Jack Russell has been trying to live a simple life. He's been through quite a bit, with all the monsters and everything. But the Blood Hunt, which it sounds like, so this is in continuity. This is not like a DC Black Label type thing. Because the Blood Hunt does affect Jack Russell as well. It turns his life upside down. And I'm wondering, when we talked about the other one, it did say that when the Blood Hunt started, the Dark Force energy kind of supercharged the other Werewolf by Night. I wonder if it does the same thing to Jack Russell. And now there is people hunting Jack Russell down, trying to, it sounds like maybe experiment on him or whatever, maybe because how he's changed. But he is, now going to be fighting for his life against people chasing him down. This is a Red Band, much like the Blood Hunt Red Band version of the regular series, but this one, like I said, is only a Red Band edition. So you can imagine it's going to be a little bit more graphic, especially with Werewolf by Night, probably more violent, but I think this sounds awesome. So yeah, definitely check this one out. Don't get mixed up with the other Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, and if it helps, this doesn't come out until August 14th. Blood Hunt will be way finished by then.
Right.
So yeah, this is after, because in this solicitation it does mention the things that happen in Blood Hunt, but it's not part of that at all.
The other one comes out July 3rd.
Yeah.
So this one's much later, and I'm super
that's
excited.
next week. We'll be talking about that on Monday, I guess. Yeah.
But this one, I'm not sure how many issues it's gonna be, but at least I've seen the cover for #2, so at least we know it's gonna be a mini-series at the least. Yeah. Which I can't wait, and I'm so excited to have Werewolf by Night kind of come back into the main Marvel universe. So, all that being said, we've got our A cover right here. We have a really cool Raza variant. We have the Sean Cheeks Galloway Saturday Morning Adventures variant, which I don't see Werewolf by Night anywhere on there, but maybe that's because he's standing right behind you.
Oh, that's right. He's the one taking the picture.
I think the people will be freaking out more if there's a werewolf with a camera.
Well, he's in his human form,
Okay. We also have this is a foil variant. So this is one of the ones to check with your store to check prices because it may be a little bit more. but maybe we're gonna have Elsa Bloodstone in there as well. That'd be awesome. And I really like this one, even though this is kind of one of the tie-ins with the Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe variants. I just think this is a super cool looking Davila variant.
Yep.
And I really hope Werewolf by Night becomes that big. I want like a cross with like
a big hulking swole Werewolf by Night for sure.
Oh, and there's also this one. This is the Dazzler variant, the Wilson Disco Dazzler variant, which they're going to be doing a lot of kind of mashups between like Disco because of Dazzler and different Marvel characters.
Next is Hello Darkness #1, and this is why I fumbled the ball with EC Epitaphs from the Abyss earlier. I got my notes switched.
And they're very similar.
They're very similar concepts. So this one also is a new anthology series featuring stories of horror, fantasy, and mystery from an all-star cast of creators. You have writers like Garth Ennis, James Tynion, and Brian Azzarello. You have artists like Becky Cloonan, Werther Dell'Edera, Vanessa Del Rey, and others. So yeah, very similar in concept to another anthology horror book. But this one, I'm not sure how many stories are going to be in each issue. It does say that the first 6 issues of this are going to feature a new Something is Killing the Children story. So that's probably what James Tynion and Werther Dell'Edera are working on in this. And then it also says the first, I believe it's the first 7 issues, will have a bone-rattling new serialized tale by Garth Ennis and Becky Cloonan. So Boom announced this about a month or so ago to much fanfare. Boom does horror really well. And then with these creators right here, I'm very excited to see what kind of tales they can tell in this new anthology book. So that's why. So I just want to say that's why I got the other one mixed up, because they're very, very similar.
You could have said basically the same thing.
You're right. Yeah, for sure. All right. So this is our A cover right here. We have a Jenny Frison cover. We have a Peach Momoko cover, and there is an FOC reveal variant by BRZRKR.
Yeah, I'm excited because I feel like the anthology horror is like what comics does almost better than any other thing. Because, Creep Show, Silver Coin, Ice Cream Man, these are so good. And they're so like, fresh as you just read one and move on to the next one and everything. So I can't wait for even more of these as we creep ever closer to October.
I love superhero books. That's my bread and butter. But after that, horror is my favorite genre in comics, and especially the anthology ones where you can just read a spooky story and that's it. Like, I love that stuff.
Yeah, so these are going to be great. These are all going home with me. Next up, we've got Spawn Kills Every Spawn #1. So this is a 5-issue miniseries written by John Layman, and the art is by Rob Duanis, which I don't want to speak out of term. I believe is the artist who just did the giant size Little Marvels, written by Scotty Young, and I believe he's the one who did the art on that. This is really cool. So I wasn't too sure about what's the storyline in this, because it only talks about this little Spawn finds out that they aren't the only Spawn, nor the coolest Spawn, so they must eliminate the competition. Now, earlier today, I got to check out a preview copy of this, and it really explained it more, and I saw all the humor in it and everything, because one of the things that happens is this little Spawn goes to a Spawn convention where everyone there, they're all different Spawn versions of heroes and stuff. They all have big lines except for him. And he's just like, why don't I have people? They come up to him and they're like, oh, I've been looking for you. He's like, great. And they're like, do you know where Medieval Spawn's table is? So he basically vows revenge to become the one and only Spawn and be the greatest and coolest Spawn to get all the attention. So this is going to be over the top, cute but violent. So I'm really looking forward to this. It looks like a ton of fun. Even this little Spawn has a Spawn mom, and his room, he's got she bought him Spawn comics, and it's just it's all Spawn all the time.
Gotta love Spawn mom.
So this is our A cover. We have a Todd McFarlane variant, which is just kind of unhinged.
I would never have said that was a McFarlane.
No. And a blank sketch version. So if you ever see Todd, say, will you draw that weird little Spawn again?
That weird Spawn, yeah. Next is Black Widow Venomous. This is, I believe, a one-shot, and this is simply going to redefine Black Widow's relationship with her symbiote. and set the stage for her appearance in the upcoming Venom War storyline crossover that's going to be happening soon. And it's written by Erica Schultz and the art is by Luciano Vecchio. So yeah, the Venom War story. Still not 100% sure what that all is. Just sounds like a whole bunch of symbiote powered people going at each other.
Loopy blob of symbiotes.
And Black Widow is going to be part of that, and this is just setting up her role in that story. So we have our A cover right here. We have our Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe variant, which I guess he succeeded. And then there is a Derek Chew variant as well. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, that one's cool. I mean, I don't love everybody having a symbiote, but she does it with style.
Yeah,
her suit is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool, and I didn't love it at first because I was thinking, she's awesome enough. She doesn't need a symbiote, but the way she uses it and the little spiders that she can use to extract information out of people, like it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And there's one other one too. There's an Inhyuk Lee variant.
Next up, we've got Ultimate Spider-Man number 7 because we can't help ourselves. We got to talk about Ultimate Spider-Man.
That's great.
And this is going to be a great issue because this begins a new story arc. We kind of wrapped up the previous story arc with a lovely bow at the end, which is one of my favorite favorite moments from Spider-Man comics in recent history.
It was the end of the story arc, but they're nowhere near done with the story they were telling.
The story they're telling, we haven't touched.
Right.
It's so big. So in this one, after the big fight with Kingpin, Peter and Harry realize they are not as well equipped to deal with this big cabal that is governing over everything. Because they went into it pretty confident.
Yeah.
And that didn't work out too well. So they're going to, maybe take a step back and rethink their plans. Plus, what does the emergence of the new Ultimates, how does that mess with their plans and mess with Jonah and Ben's paper, The Truth? So it sounds like the introduction of the Ultimates even into like the other books is going to have ripple effects, which this is so great and I can't wait for this issue.
Take my money.
Yeah. This is our A cover by Marco Cicchetto, who is back on art after this last issue. And we have a Marco Mastrazzo variant as well.
I like that.
You would think they're fighting, but they're friends.
Yeah, they're friends. They're not. He's
now.
not chasing there. Yeah.
They're playing catch with that pumpkin bomb.
Yeah, that's like a photograph. Almost.
It does.
It looks really good. All right, so next up is the DC versus Marvel Omnibus. Now, normally we save omnibuses for, the later in the show, but this is a big deal because I didn't think this would ever happen, and it's probably not going to happen again. So, we have two omnibuses coming out at the exact same time. It's the DC versus Marvel Omnibus and the Amalgam Age Omnibus. They are each going to be $150. And the DC versus Marvel Omnibus, which you can see here, this is going to reprint most, if not all, of the kind of one-shot stories that have been coming out from the late 70s, starting with Amazing Spider-Man and Superman, all the way through the mid to late 90s with, you had a lot of Batman Punisher, Batman Daredevil, Batman Spider-Man. There was a whole bunch of them that came out in that date range. And this is going to collect, like I said, almost, if not all of them for the first time. They've never been collected before, or if they have, it's way, way, way out of print. So, and from what I understand, I don't think they're going to be reprinting this omnibus like they do a lot of them. So,
yeah, the stars aligned in a very weird way for even this to be printed.
Yeah, so we wanted to go ahead and talk about this now because if you want these omnibuses, please pre-order them no later than this weekend because I think they are going to sell. And once they're gone, I'm pretty sure they're gone for good. This is
probably going to be maybe the highest selling omnibuses of all time.
Yeah, could be for sure. I'm definitely going to be getting it. So as far as this DC versus Marvel one goes, this is the direct market cover. So this is a new image done by Jim Lee. You can see all the DC and Marvel guys fighting each other.
Another thing, you want a modern Jim Lee drawing Wolverine on a printed book,
right?
Like that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's kind of a wraparound, except the spine has something in the middle. Like if you'll scroll over to just the spine part, I love the that's what your spine looks like right there. It has like little character portraits.
Yeah.
And then there's more goodness on the back. I mean, yeah, Jim Lee, this is the only time Jim Lee's probably is ever going to draw the X-Men again. So yeah, that one's really cool. So that's the direct market version. So this is the one that's only available at comic book shops like ours. But there also is a standard edition version as well that you can find at, major book retailers and Amazon and things like that. And this is by George Perez. And this was actually the cover to the old school trade paperback. I actually have this one. It doesn't reprint. Or that old one didn't reprint as much stuff though, but yeah, that's a really cool one too. So on top of that, we also have the Amalgam Age Omnibus.
I'm really excited because these are actually really good reads.
Yeah, for sure. So this is going to collect the 4-issue DC versus Marvel miniseries from the mid-90s, the one where readers could actually vote on who wins each of these fights between, like Spider-Man and Superboy and Hulk and Superman and Batman and Captain America and all those guys. And then spinning out of that miniseries was the Amalgam universe, and we got a whole new line of books featuring Darkclaw and Super Soldier and Spider-Boy, the original Spider-Boy.
Speed Demon is one of my favorites.
Yeah,
Iron Lantern and Flash together. It's so cool.
Thor and the Asgards or something like Orion. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But so they're collecting this in a separate omnibus, and again, this is probably going to be it. So if you want this one, pre-order this too. So this is actually the standard edition cover that you can find at major retailers, and there's also a direct market, another Jim Lee exclusive.
Also, look at that Dark Side, I guess. Dark Side.
It's a Dark Side and not Doomsday. Thanos, isn't it?
Thanos. I guess so. They're so similar that it just looks like a cool redesign.
There's Doctor Strange, Fate, Challengers of the Unknown. I don't remember I don't remember all the names of them.
And then over here, I mean, that's just so cool.
Yeah, so this is a brand new piece of artwork from Jim Lee. Super Soldier and Darkclaw and Iron Lantern back there in the back, and then there's your your flap on the inside. So I am extremely excited about this, and if you want this cover, again, this is only available at comic book store, so you can pre-order from our website or from your local retailer. But I'm definitely really excited for this, and those both of those come out on the same day, September 24th.
So bring like $300.
Yeah, so yeah,
that's how much it's gonna be.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome though.
Okay, next up we've got other number ones because there continues to be even more coming out. And I'm going to talk about Arkham Horror, Terror at the End of Time, number 1. You may be familiar with the Arkham Horror tabletop game. There's even an app version of it that was pretty
nice.
It's a great game where, imagine just a fun role-playing game, but you're probably not going to win. Usually it ends with you going insane. But this is kind of going alongside that. This is going to be written by Cullen Bunn with art by Andrea Muti. And this follows a character named Jenny Barnes, who is kind of a socialite, but also likes to go on adventures. But things take a bad turn when her sister disappears, and she finds out she's been taken in by a cult. And it's going to be up to Jenny she hires an investigator named Joe Diamond, who doesn't completely understand everything that's going on, but together they're going to team up to find her sister and get enthralled in a bunch of Lovecraftian horror in Arkham, Massachusetts. So it sounds really fun. I like Cullen Bunn writing horror, especially Lovecraftian horror is awesome. So it sounds really cool. And I believe there's only the one cover for this.
Very nice. Next is BRZRKR, A Face Full of Bullets. And I think this is going to be a one-shot. I tried to look ahead, but there was nothing else after this. This is written by Jason Aaron, and the art is by Salvador Larroca. Jason Aaron is everywhere these days. Writing all kinds of stuff. And in a wide range, too. We had Uncle Scrooge last week. We're getting Ninja Turtles, and then this. I mean, he's all over the place. So B, who is, the main character of BRZRKR, I believe this is like a period piece. It sounds like a sort of an Old West tale. He finds himself in the middle of a greedy land baron and his runaway daughter. And is he going to play the role of guardian angel and protect that daughter? Or is he going to be the angel of death? It looks like on the cover he chose the latter of those two. But just another cool, period piece with, in the BRZRKR world. And if you're trying to get them all, don't miss this one. So we have our A cover, and then we have a Scalera variant.
Which is very
I really like that.
Death Dealer from Frazetta.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is a new book from Vault called Something Crawled Out. This is really cool. I got to sample some preview pages of this. The art looks awesome. So this is by the writer's name is M. Sun, and the art is by Cass Mad Cursed Pirano. Which, if Mad Cursed is your real middle name, that's pretty sick. So this follows a character named Eddie Miller. She doesn't have any grand plans for life. She just is living a life, sleeps late, goes to her shift at the gas station where she works at nights. But her younger sister goes missing. There's a lot of missing sisters in this show. Goes missing. She unearths a web of missing girls and rotting bodies. And so she teams up with her best friend Rainer, and the two hunt down for answers. But, and this is just like such a left turn twist, the only thing Eddie believes is that her best friend Rainer might be the devil himself. So there's a curveball for you.
And something must have happened with this book, because we talked about this like last September.
Yes, it got really pushed. So I thought we need to talk about it again.
For sure.
And now I think it's going to stick because I did see like a full issue's worth of stuff for it. So really cool. Pretty adult. It's pretty dark, but the art is like that cover. It's still kind of a little bit more stylized, but really cool. So this is our A cover. We have a Kathy Kwan variant and a Chris Sheehan variant. That's her friend who might also be the devil.
You never can tell.
And maybe he's a plumber.
All right, next is Supermassive. This year's edition of Supermassive, they release one of these every year that brings together all of the Massive-verse characters. And in this one, Radiant Black is over there fighting the Catalyst War. And Shift, Radiant Red, Rogue Sun, the Dead Lucky, and Inferno Girl Red. So those are all your other Massive-verse characters. They are going to do their part to try to change the tide in that war. So I'm super far behind on Radiant Black. I think I only read the first issue of the Catalyst War. So I actually didn't even know it was still going on. But these Supermassive books are always really cool. This one is $5.99, but they're always oversized too. I didn't take down the artist and the writer. Kyle Higgins is part of it.
Sure, Kyle Higgins is right.
Yeah, but these are always a lot of fun, bringing all of the Massive-verse characters together. And this is this year's edition, and this is the only cover.
Next up, we have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Darkest Hour #1. Now, this is a big deal. I believe this is just a one-shot. I'm pretty positive it's a one-shot. This is by Melissa Flores and Simona D. Gianfilis. And this is the final Power Rangers issue. After a 8-year run for Power Rangers, this is the final issue. So this is the one-shot that will have the same week. We have issue 122. That is the final issue of the main Power Rangers series, and this is kind of the bookend at the end of that. That wraps up everything after 8 years. There's been no announcements about new Power Rangers for the comic or the show after the current season is over. So is this the end of Power Rangers forever? Probably not, but probably for a little while. So if you have been reading it, you don't want to miss this special that's going to end it all.
Yeah.
So very cool. Got some really good covers for this. So this is the Clark A cover. There is a Clark B cover. It gets a little darker.
Little Venom symbiote there.
We have a Dark Grid Berens variant. And the Helmet Montez variant.
Next up is the Miss Marvel annual for this year, and this is going to be part 4 of the Infinity Watch storyline. Part 1 started in the Thanos annual this week. Part 2 is in the Amazing Spider-Man annual next week. I don't remember what the third part was. But Multitude, who is the character you see there, that is another one of the characters that is bonded with one of the Infinity Stones. He's going to have to decide whether he's going to be a hero or villain, and maybe a run-in with Miss Marvel can help tip the scales towards the side of good, or maybe not. We don't really know yet. But just wanted to let you know about the next part of the Infinity Watch storyline if you are keeping up with it. So this is our A cover, and we have a Manhanini variant also.
That one's really
I like
cool.
that one.
Next up, it's time for the 2024 Street Fighter and Friends Swimsuit Special #1. They do this every year. And they always sell out really well because, it's classic Capcom Street Fighter.
Yeah.
But this one, it's got the And Friends special because with this one, they're actually including other Capcom properties like Darkstalkers, Power Stone, and more. So,
I love Power Stone.
Is
Holy
a great
cow.
game.
Yeah.
So I think it's really cool to see. Maybe this is a hint at some other properties they're going to be messing with. But don't miss out on this if you like very nice art. So this is our A cover. And there is a B cover as well. There you can see some of the Darkstalkers characters and stuff.
Now this is Gotham City Sirens #1. This is going to be a 4-issue miniseries. We're going to talk about this on a later show, but we wanted to show you this because this is another one of those covers. It is a prismatic gloss variant. So this is another one of those really special covers that you have to order ahead of time. So the rest of the covers for this series will be on FOC at a later date, but this cover in particular is on FOC this weekend. So if you want the prismatic gloss variant by Gilliam March, you need to pre-order this weekend, and then the rest will come later.
I can't wait to talk about this at a later date.
Yep.
So I'm excited about it. Next up, we got notable 2s and 3s, starting with Zatanna Bring Down the House #2. Issue 1 of this came out this week.
It was great.
And it was awesome. Yep. I loved it. Great to see a new Zatanna book. And under that black label, so it kind of can do its own thing. So this is issue #2. If you read #1, you kind of know Zatanna's been, for her whole life, kind of shying away from using real magic. She's preferred more kind of parlor tricks and everything. But when some giant interdimensional demon appeared in the last one, it looks like she might have to pull back those long-forgotten real magic powers her father taught her. But in an interesting twist, a mysterious group of magic users shows up and accuses Zatanna of using her powers against one of their own, which is her father. So we got a hint of that in the person that what happened to her dad in between this time. Looks like we're going to be exploring that more. So this is our A cover for that. We have this fantastic Jenny Frizen variant and a Ariel Diaz variant.
Next is Hellverine #3. This continuing the Hellverine miniseries. Now, the solicitation for this, I think it's more. It didn't really give specifics for this issue. It was more just telling the overall story because it did say what is the. I may have written this down. What is the Pentacle? And how will their plans influence the Hellfire Destroyers? Well, we figured out what the Pentacle was in this newest issue. That's the secret government organization that created these Hellfire-powered soldiers, and I guess they're called the Hellfire Destroyers. And then it says Logan makes a discovery that will change him forever. But I don't know if he's going to make another discovery because he already found out something in the second issue this week's issue. And that already was pretty shocking.
Did he find out the identity of someone?
Yeah, so I don't really know if he's going to find out something else or if maybe the solicitations for this were just more at a broad level for the series. I'm not sure. But if you are reading Hellverine, this is the 3rd issue, so don't miss it. We have our A cover right here, and then we have a Stan Sakai cover, which looks really cool.
Next up, we've got Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider #3. I've really enjoyed this. Issue #2 this week was great. So in this one, I don't want to give away too much of what happened because it's a pretty great final page reveal. But Gwen is already having a really hard time in the 616 universe now that she's moved over there. She can't use her costume, powers, and Kraven the Hunter showed up and tried to, take her out. And now it looks like this villain is trying to convince everyone that Gwen is a villain in the 616 universe. So if you read it, you kind of know how they are playing that, but it's so much fun. This is our A cover by Mark Brooks. We have a Villalobos variant. We have our Weapon Extraction variant, which I'm not sure which part of Weapon Extraction this is. I know a later book we've got has another part of it, so we're within the first few of this title. We also have a Woo variant and a Scotty Young Big Marvels variant.
Next is Midnight Suns Blood Hunt #3. I do believe this is the last of this Blood Hunt tie-in. And this is the final showdown between the Midnight Suns and Blade. But can he be saved? And what is the future for the Midnight Suns after all this is all done? So we learned the truth about what's going on with Blade, why he's doing all this in Blood Hunt #4. And I don't know how you really come back from that, but I guess we'll see. But so it looks like the Midnight Suns are finally going to take him on directly. So this is our A cover right here, and we have a Hildebrandt variant from the Marvel Masterpieces, card set.
This one looks like if you took the Fangs variant,
Yeah,
you zoomed
zoomed out,
and that's what he's doing.
Right.
Okay, next up we've got Self-Help number 2. I read number 1 this week. It was really cool. It was a nice surprise for a new indie kind of crime-ish series. So in this one, Jerry Hauser, who looks just like self-help guru Darren Hart, something happened at the end of the last one, and now Jerry finds himself maybe trying to convince those around him that he is the real Darren Hart, and maybe turn his luck around in life. So, but how is he gonna convince people, considering he didn't really know too much about the man? But it was great, and so hopefully you checked it out. This is our A cover, and then we also have our Stephen Byrne variant. Next up, we have cool covers.
And this one's cool. Flash number 11.
Yes, it is fact. We said it's cool.
This one, in this one, Barry and Max and Mr. Terrific head to the Speed Force to uncover what's causing the chaos around the world. And Wally returns home while they go do that, but he's under the same mind control that sees Barry. But we wanted to show you this awesome Jose Luis Garcia Lopez variant, part of the style guide that we'll be talking about later. So we have that cover for Flash, and we have another one of those covers for Green Arrow number 14. In this one, the Arrow family tracks down Professor Ivo to find a way to shut down all the Amazo robots who are stealing all the powers from all the heroes. The Arrow family does that, but they're not the only ones looking for him, because Oliver Queen is also on the hunt. And if you read Green Arrow 13, they're kind of split right now. Oliver Queen's doing one thing and the Arrow family's doing another. Don't really know why he's doing that. But this is the Green Arrow version of that same type of cover.
Very cool. Next up, I just want to show this really cool cover for Harley Quinn number 42. This is the Ben Harvey variant. And Harley Quinn's just had so many great covers. And if you know the solicitations for Harley, they're written by her, and so they're kind of nonsense. But I want to show this really cool cover.
Sorry, I'm just making some notes here. Next is Rook Exodus number 4. Number 3 came out this week, and it was awesome. In this one, the Bear Warden Ursaw, he wants complete control over the planet Exodus, and it's up to Rook and Direwolf and all of their new allies that we saw glimpses of in number 3. They're going to have to stop him. But the question is, what does Ursaw want with a dying planet that everybody else is trying to get off of? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So this is our A cover, and then we have another Jason Fabok B cover with that's Ursaw right there, and he looks awesome.
Next up, we have Universal Monsters Creature from the Black Lagoon Lives, number 4 of 4. So this is your final issue of this mini-series. I believe the next one we're getting is Frankenstein, but this is a really awesome Jenny Frison variant for this one.
Next is Void Rivals number 11. And in this one, the Zertonian forces have caught up with Derek and Solilla. They've been on the run for a while now. They finally catch up, but luckily Springer is there with Derek and Solilla to help them with the upcoming battle.
He's been pretty good at defending them.
Yeah, for sure. And this is the B cover by Vasco Georgiev.
Next up, we've got Amazing Spider-Man number 54, and this is your final part of the Easy Being Green story. Felt like there's a lot of build-up to this, and then it's not too long of a story arc. Will they finally get all of the Green Goblin whatever's in him, sins and mind control, all of that? Will they get that out of Peter Parker? And how is he going to recover from this? He's been through the ringer. So this is the finale for that. This is your A cover. We also have this Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe variant, which is really fun.
Like that. Yeah, the Spider-Buggy. The Spider-Buggy's great.
And then we have a Gabriel Del Auto connecting variant with the Sinister 3 currently. Yeah.
Next is Annihilation 2099 number 5. I do believe this is the the last issue of this miniseries. In this one, a derelict spacecraft crashes on an alien world, and Dracula is inside. And he doesn't quite look like Dracula does in Blood Hunt right now. Maybe he got a facelift or whatever. But the planet is terrified of sunlight. The planet he crashes on is terrified of sunlight, which means it's perfect for Dracula, and he soon becomes their hero. But when a Darkhawk attacks from the stars, Dracula will have to fight back to protect his new home.
Wow.
And this one is the Ken Lashley frame variant that all of these have had.
Next up, we've got Fantastic Four number 22. I love this cover. This is a Blood Hunt tie-in issue. I believe it's the final Blood Hunt tie-in issue of Fantastic Four. Just a fantastic Alex Ross cover. Watching Reed get his face a bit stretched. But this is also has part 3 of Weapon Extraction. So we'll kind of have to piece those together, and as these issues come out, we'll let you know on our Monday show, which parts go where. But great A cover for this one, and then there's a Deadpool Wolverine Weapon Extraction variant, which is a cool version of, he's not holding up claws, he's holding up his swords with the Wolverine reflection.
Next up is Immortal Thor number 13, and in this one, Hercules seeks out Thor's help when Tauros sets his sights on the Olympians. He had a big beef with Thor and the Norse gods. Now he's going after the Olympians. They're going to travel to a wasteland of snow, ice, terror, and treachery to seek out one of Hercules' oldest foes at the height of her power. And this is part 5 this contains part 5 of the Deadpool Wolverine Weapon Extraction backup story. And we just want to show you this really cool Humberto Ramos cover with Spider-Boy.
It's like, it's so weird he's about to step on Spider-Boy?
Or Spider-Boy's like trying to lift him, I guess.
Yeah. I couldn't see that. It just looked like he's like, whoa, sorry, this kid. Little guy. Yeah. Next up, we've got Star Wars Darth Maul Black, White, and Red number 4. This is the final issue of this miniseries, only a 4-issue miniseries. This one's going to be written by Greg Pak. And in this one, Palpatine sends Maul to a forgotten temple. And what's going to go on there? Probably nothing good. So, I want to show you this one, and this is the Simonson variant.
Next is Feral number 5. This is the end of the first story arc. Like Stray Dogs was a miniseries, Feral is an ongoing series, so this is just wrapping up that first story arc. The cats have to keep moving when they learn that the outbreak extends far beyond the forest that they're in, but where can they go now that nowhere is safe? I don't know. Hopefully they'll find somewhere. But this is the nice movie homage variant. This is...
I believe it's Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
Maybe the Zack Snyder one?
I think it was the original.
Oh, is this the original?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let us know if you know for sure.
Because clearly we don't.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Conan the Barbarian number 13. This begins a new story arc, and I'm getting hints in this one of the classic story, The Frost Giant's Daughter, which is a fantastic story. But in this one, a young Conan heads north seeking glory, but what he finds in the cold will change his path forever. So it sounds like we're getting kind of early days of Conan's story. And this is just a really great Amanda Connor variant for Conan.
Yeah.
Next up, we got graphic novels and more. So there's some really good ones this time. Starting off with...
the 1982 DC Comics Style Guide. So I'm really excited about this. So those earlier covers we showed you, the Flash and the Green Arrow covers, those images came out of a book like this. Now this is reproduced from a rare original copy. This wasn't a thing that regular readers could buy back in the 80s. This was a style guide that was used to assist licensees. People who are wanting to put these characters on their merchandise, shirts and hats and underoos, of course.
Yeah.
This was to give them something that could give them a consistent look for all of DC's characters. All the artwork is by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, and this is my childhood, like superpowers figures and lunch boxes and T-shirts. Anytime I would see Superman or Batman, it looked like how they look in this. And I want to say that this is just like I said, this wasn't anything that a person, like a reader, could buy. This was just handed out to artists and other people like that. But somebody actually had a really well-conditioned copy, and so they made some high-quality scans. It says over 165 highly detailed scans of the original art. And it's just a fascinating mashup of comic art, but also typography, graphic design, and just a preservation of Jose Luis Garcia Lopez's legacy. Because he did so much, all the DC stuff in the 80s, like the standardized images that you would see were his artwork. So they're finally putting that in a book that the general audience can see. This is going to be $95, and it comes out August 28th.
Next up, we've got Junkyard Joe Deluxe Edition. And out of all of the unnamed universe stuff, out of all the Ghost Machine stuff, this is up there as one of my favorites.
Yeah, this is really good.
I love Junkyard Joe. Hopefully you read it. If you didn't, Great story of a silent robot over the years. You've got to read it to fully get the full story, but he has been kind of teased and showing up in more recent Unnamed Universe books. But this deluxe edition, there's already a regular edition now, collects issues 1 through 6, plus bonus material, variant cover art, and more. It is a little bit beefier of a book. And it is going to be hardcover as well, so it is going to be $34.99. This is our direct market exclusive, so you can only get this at comic book stores and such. And then there is the regular edition as well, and they are both $34.99.
And next is the Brave and the Bold trade paperback volume 1, Lords of Luck. Now this is interesting because this kind of came out of nowhere. This is written by Mark Waid and featuring art by George Perez, Bob Washek, and Scott Koblish. So this collects the first 6 issues of the Brave and the Bold series from 2007. And the first issue of that one was a team up between Batman and Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, where they were trying to track down the stolen Book of Destiny. Which was really cool. So, Brave and the Bold is a classic series where different heroes team up, and that's what this one was back in 2007, and now I guess they're starting to collect some of that. This one's going to be $17.99, and comes out September 10th.
Yeah, this series has some of my favorite single-issue stories. Aquaman and Etrigan being one, and the Girls' Night Out with Wonder Woman, Batgirl.
That one was great. The one that takes place the night before Killing Joke.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
These are really, really good. Don't sleep on this. Next up, we've got our first collected edition of Ultimate Spider-Man. This is volume 1. And I love it's called Married with Children.
Yeah.
They put it right there. They know what everybody wants for Spider-Man, to be married with children. And this collects issues 1 through 6. So you can get this, and then issue number 7 is also on order of this, so you can get completely caught up. And this is going to be $19.99. Money well spent.
Next is Absolute Power Ground Zero second print. So the first printing came out this week. It is the setup for it's the very beginning of the Absolute Power event. This is where all the pieces get put in place. And then Absolute Power number 1 is going to hit the ground running next week. We'll be talking about that on Monday. But if you missed it the first time and you want to get it on the ground floor of the Absolute Power event, you can grab the second printing of the beginning of all of it.
And I've got Uncle Scrooge and the Infinity Dime. This is the second printing of the number 1. It's only a one-shot issue for $7.99. This was so good, written by Jason Aaron. Also reprinting the original Christmas on Bear Mountain, which was Uncle Scrooge's first appearance in comics. And this was just a ton of fun. Multiversal Scrooge and Donald and Huey, Dewey, and Louie. We sold out of this almost immediately. I think day 1 sellout. And just shows people want fun comics that, you don't have to worry too much about.
Yep.
And so if you want something really, really fun to read, check this one out. And that is it for Comics from the Future. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, head over to infinityflux.net right now where you can order these books we just talked about. There's still tons of other stuff we didn't talk about over there. So go through it all, find all the stuff you like, because I am sure there is something else that will tickle your fancy. But we've got our show coming up on Monday. We'll be going over the biggest books coming out next week, and there's some fantastic ones. We already mentioned the Werewolf by Night Blood Hunt's going to be next week. Also, a little thing called Absolute Power number 1 is really next week, so don't miss that. It's going to be huge. So make sure you subscribe and like this video so you can make sure you don't miss any of our upcoming videos, and we've got more stuff, really fun stuff on the way. We've had our interview last week with Benjamin Percy, and we've got even more fun stuff coming up very soon. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of that. And
if you made it to the end, leave us like a spooky emoji, because I'm really excited about the EC book coming back. Leave us a ghost or Dracula or
a little skull.
Yeah, like a pumpkin. I mean, we'll do Halloween in June. So yeah, just leave us something spooky. Let us know you made it to the end.
Yes, absolutely. And until next time, see ya.